The stories that we've pulled from this Facebook group actually just disprove anyone's fears or doubts and show that you can actually, if you want to live in another country, if you want to pitch to your work that you want to remote work from another destination for a while, if you want to travel but think you don't have the money, you know, there's something like house sitting. These stories that people are sharing show you can. Hi, it's Sarah and Cooper here. We are from the travel brand travelivelearn.com. Now, something that surprises a lot of people is when we tell them that we've got a Facebook group community of over 13,000 people, well 13,000 at time of recording. It's nearly about 14,000. That might be a small community, but then for a lot of people that's a big community.
For us.
Yeah, for us it's a big community. We wanted to share sort of what we've learnt from this beautiful community. The Facebook group was originally started because, well, before COVID, we all remember those days, they seem so far away. We began a journey of travelling and house and pet sitting. And so we decided to start a Facebook group to find more like-minded souls who are actually doing this. We ourselves wanted to ask some questions and get some advice.
And also share our knowledge and experiences from our travels.
Exactly. So we set this Facebook group up and just gradually started attracting people here and there. They were particularly people who were using a platform that we use called Trusted House Sitters. This community bubbled along. We had some nice little conversations.
We had about 323 people and we felt pretty chuffed.
Yeah, we did. The reason behind us beginning this group was literally knowledge sharing, wasn't it? We wanted to meet people who were doing this.
And connect other groups
and
of
connect,
people.
Exactly. And that's the whole beautiful thing behind most communities online. It's about connection, isn't it? So that's how this Facebook group began. But of course, then COVID hit, right? So that put a spanner in the works. It put a halt on many people's plans.
Travel, house sitting, all around the world. It was like someone flicked a switch.
Yeah, and in fact, most people in the group were like us. They were travelling or house sitting or living abroad and sort of had to decide what they would do, and many people like us had to go back to whatever they called their home base. Some people that we've talked to in the group, though, since ended up involved in longer term house sits than they ever imagined because they couldn't go anywhere, and then in some cases the homeowners couldn't actually get back home.
No.
Some people ended up longer term house sitting. Through this sort of quiet travel period though, we found purpose in this community, and other people found purpose in the community because we were able to share experiences of travel even when we couldn't travel. And most people in the group have travel in their heart in one way, shape or form. And actually, while we're thinking about that, that's sort of one of the inspirations behind our freebie on our mailing list. If you jump on over to the freedomlist.travellivelearn.com and you can grab our brand new freebie, which is about bringing inspiration into the everyday, even when you can't travel.
Especially for those people who may have a house sit where you're in a community that might be a little bit isolated, and you're trying to make friends, or you want to sort of get involved in the local community. We just sort of give you some tips or some steps on how you can get out of your comfort zone and go and meet people.
This Everyday Adventures checklist will definitely have something on there to inspire you to get out and explore your own backyard and inject a little bit of travel inspiration into your everyday, regardless of where you might be in the world right now. So that's something that we did learn from this group while COVID was happening, and you know, the travel sort of thing quietened down. The group continued to tick along and grow though. So I guess some advice we'd give to anyone who is trying to grow an online community.
I think it's really important that you engage in the group, talk to people.
Consistently engage, I guess, you're right. Consistently try and bring people together and connect people and share stories.
So a lot of people ask questions in the group about positive and negative experiences they've had, and they want advice of, I've been offered this sit but the owner hasn't really communicated very well with me, it's 2 days out, I still haven't heard from him. So we find a lot of people in situations where they're a little bit uncertain about what to do because they're obviously new to the group, they're new to house sitting, and they don't know what to do, and there are people out there who've been in that situation, and there's a good chance for you to offer them nice advice.
Exactly. Exactly. So if you're trying to grow a network like that or a community, just stick with it and be the connector. Don't just post stuff. This is what happened during COVID for a couple of years. The group continued to grow for us, but just sort of drip feeding slowly. But it was a nice, there was nice conversations in there, and it started to grow into not just conversations about house sitting. It was evolving into travel chat, digital nomadism, house and pet sitting. Still to this day is a key conversation.
Travel
in there.
tips, how do people get from A to B?
Yeah, exactly, and travel inspiration for people who are planning to get away. We then had a tipping point. We thought actually that we had been spammed or something on Facebook.
We woke up one morning, we had 476 followers. I thought, wow, that's unreal. And then we're noticing that every day 1,000 people were joining our group.
And thousands.
We thought we were hacked. We thought, there's something wrong with the algorithm, so how can this be happening? And after about 10 days, we hit the 10,000 mark and we couldn't believe it.
Yeah, eventually, in one of the conversations that we saw, the group had been mentioned on TikTok. So if you want to understand the power of TikTok, and this was, about a year ago?
Yes.
TikTok apparently works. We were getting found, but then I think Facebook obviously started to show people the group because we had so much engagement all of a sudden. So it was really cool to discover we had not been hacked.
Thank you to that person who puts that post on TikTok. I'd love to know who you are. Please send us your details.
We had no way of finding you, so if ever you come across this, let us know that it was you, because we're actually really grateful. But it did shake us into having to think about how to approach this group, because previously on Facebook we had manually approved all people who wanted to come into the group, and we were getting these thousands and thousands of people who wanted to come.
We're trying to figure out who are these people who want to contribute to the group, who are spammers, who's trying to sell stuff in the group.
So we looked at how groups were working and were able to switch around using some rules. We've now automated who comes into the group and who doesn't. Tip, if you would love to join us, and we want you to join us, so come and find us.
Listen carefully.
Yeah. Answer the questions and tick that you agree to the rules, because if you don't, you won't be allowed in, and that's the AI talking, not us. They are the parameters that will allow you into the group automatically, because we don't touch that side of things now. We switched around to actually approving the posts that come into the group. We needed to start doing that because some people were coming in and spamming and trolling, and this was all new to us. So we did some, investigations on how to use Facebook's tools
and ways to weed these people out.
Yeah, and it's doing pretty well. Of course, you get your odd person coming in and being difficult or nasty, and we sometimes have to call sort of admin privileges. But for the most part, Facebook's automation to help manage these groups has been pretty spot on so far. So we still like to try and act as the connectors. So we don't want to see ourselves as just the admins. We want to bring people together, and I think this is what a lot of people who run communities, how they want to approach it and how they feel as well. About 6 months or so, we did a call out and we asked people, do you have a story to share? Either your house sitting journey or your I've been on the road for 10 years traveling journey, jealous much, or digital nomad stories. We put a call out, and some fantastic people came back to us with wild and varying stories. So we gathered these people together and we've interviewed them since. They're in a podcast called Freedom and Four Paws, which you can find on any of the major podcast networks, including Spotify and Apple. The stories that we've pulled from this Facebook group actually just disprove anyone's fears or doubts and show that you can actually, if you want to live in another country, if you want to pitch to your work that you want to remote work from another destination for a while, if you want to travel but think you don't have the money, there's something like house sitting. These stories that people are sharing show you can.
It's doable. Anyone can do it.
Exactly. So that's our story about how our Facebook group blew up when we thought we'd been hacked on Facebook and how it's evolved into something really beautiful, filled with people who have fantastic stories to share and a community that wants to help and inspire each other. If you would like to join us, we'll drop the links in the description. You can join our mailing list too to be first in the know with new opportunities and things that are coming up in our world and our community's world. And subscribe here on YouTube.